Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Beetlejuice, released in 1988. Beetlejuice follows the lives and deaths of Adam and Barbara Maitland, a loving married couple who end up haunting their own house after their untimely demise. When a new family moves in, they decide to scare them out and enlist the help of a ghost with the most.
Beetlejuice.
No, Adam, it's Beetlejuice. Ah, shit. I said it 3 times. Beetlejuice is directed by Tim Burton, whose work we've covered previously with 2007's Sweeney Todd. This was only his second feature after the perfect film that is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Say what you will about his eventual filmography, but early Burton was masterclass filmmaking. His style hadn't become a parody of itself yet, and the humor was legitimately hilarious, though plenty of that could be accredited to his performers. Beetlejuice cemented his signature style and gave him clout enough to helm the big-budget Batman just a year later. It's got plenty of ghosts, ghouls, and monsters, all of which were made practically with stop motion and special effects. In fact, Beetlejuice won the Best Makeup Oscar at the 61st Academy Awards. What's funny though is that Beetlejuice the character isn't in as much of the movie as you might expect. He only has 17 minutes of screen time, and only a few of those are spent in his famous suit. But it's easy to forget that thanks to Michael Keaton's unhinged portrayal. It's seriously a perfect performance, and made the character an instant icon, thus his inclusion in the second Horror Royal Rumble. The movie would spawn a popular animated TV show, a Nintendo game, and a surprisingly good Broadway musical. It was also the first ever DVD that Netflix sent out when it launched in 1998. A sequel comes out in just a few weeks, made by Tim Burton again and starring Jenna Ortega. If it's even half as good as the original, well, we're in for a treat. Wait, what? Ah! Oh, where am I? That desert hellscape from Beetlejuice? Oh God, I've already sweat off all my Beetlejuice makeup and it gave me a haircut too. And don't even get me started on how my boys are feeling downstairs. Whew. Think, James, how do I survive in this abyss? Today's sponsor, MeUndies. MeUndies, I could use some help down here. MeUndies gods, I know your standard micromodal fabric is stretchy and breathable already, but to survive here, I'm gonna need your Move Me Line's moisture-wicking anti-odor breathe fabric that's perfect for sweltering summer days. MeUndies? MeUndies, are you out there? Tired of talking to myself here. Oh, maybe you need me to choose from your 20 different styles in 100 different colors and prints, with options ranging from black briefs to bold boxers. But you know what? I think I'll go for an adventurous assortment. Oh, huh, you are there. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, I'm gonna go put on these bad boys and figure out my way out of here. Oh, it's a ride at the Sandworm. Well, thank you, MeUndies. I'm going home. You don't need to trek through how to enjoy MeUndies. Viewers can get 20% off their first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/deadmeat. Oh, great, the makeup's back. Will our ghost with the most nab any kills when we say his name 3 times? Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins by establishing the small town setting of Winter River, Connecticut. I love this long flyover shot. Of course, where there's flies, there's giant spiders, oh my God! Just kidding, this is a regular sized spider in a miniature town. But if you didn't catch the dissolve transition out of the helicopter shot, you might be taken aback when the spider pops out. This quaint little one-road town is the home of Barbara and Adam Maitland, a married couple played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. They're enjoying a staycation in their massive house, which they've been trying, without success, to fill with mini Maitlands. Barbara's cousin Jane keeps bugging them to sell the house to a family with kids.
This house is too big for you. It really ought to be for a couple with a family.
Wow, Jane, will you fuck off? The Maitlands are happy here, making their models and smooching on drop cloths. They've got no reason to leave this primo location of, 5,000 square feet? It's peaceful and solitary up on the hill, yet town is only a red bridge away. They go there since Adam needs materials for his models, and he grabs them from the hardware store they own. But on the way back, a stray dog causes them to crash through the side of the bridge. It's a cartoonishly close call. The only thing holding them there is that dog. The dog takes off, so the Maitlands drop into the river and onto the kill count, when good boys go bad. Winter River, Connecticut was played by East Corinth, Vermont. I'm happy to hear they went back there for the sequel. Production had to build a 3.5-sided facade for the Maitland home, the covered bridge involved in the accident, and build a dam to make the lake their car falls into. The Maitlands get back home with nary a scratch on them, but we saw that kill graphic, we know what's up. They start to suspect something when their magical fireplace gives them Liu Kang hands. Birthday candle Liu Kang hands? Must be a friendship.
Friendship?
ship.
When they try to leave the house, they find that their front lawn's been turned eco-friendly. It's a Salvador Dali-looking desert hellscape. And sure, the giant planet in the sky is pretty cool, but the view ain't worth the sandworms and all their stop-motion glory. This thing's an oversized toy from A Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's ready to— oh, drat, they got away. Next time, sandworm. Back inside, they figure out what's happened when they see their Nosferatus in the mirror. Oh, also, this book's a good clue.
Handbook for the recently diseased.
Deceased.
They realize the truth. Thanks to that crash, they've joined the departed. News of their deaths reaches the underworld, where our titular character decides to make them his next mark. The Maitlands settle into married afterlife, working on their models and sitting on their smoochin' smocks. Jane visits the house, but they're unable to get her attention. According to their manual, the living usually won't see the dead.
Won't or can't?
It just says won't.
Unbeknownst to them, Jane has gone ahead and sold their home, which is why one morning they're rudely awakened from their eternal slumber by the sound of new arrivals. It's the upper-class Deets family moving here from New York. Realtor Charles is looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. His goth daughter Lydia is happy to move into this spooky house, but her stepmother Delia can't stand it.
Oh, look, an indoor outhouse.
An unfortunate part of this movie is that Charles Deets is played by Jeffrey Jones, who fucking sucks. Thankfully, Delia Deets is played by Catherine O'Hara, who's a damn delight in the role. Daughter Lydia is played by a 17-year-old Winona Ryder, nowadays best known for Stranger Things. We've also seen her on the count in Alien Resurrection. Delia's an artist, in air quotes, and is eager to bring a mighty wind of renovation to the house. She does not plan to leave their home alone. She's got movers bringing in all sorts of wacky crap, one of whom is played by J.J. Saunders, who was the sheriff in Tammy and the T-Rex. Remember that one? Delia's interior design aspirations are aided by her flamboyant friend Otho.
You're lucky the yuppies are buying condos so you can afford what I'm going to have to do to this place.
Otho is so far past gay-coded, man, you can't even see the functions anymore. The Maitlands aren't thrilled about these people tearing up their home, but their manual says they're ghosts, so maybe they can scare them out like Haunting starring Poltergeist.
We just have to pray the other closets are bigger than this one.
They try all sorts of YouTube unfriendly scares, while Jeffrey Jones snarls around sounding like Tim Robinson.
I know what you two are up to, and you're not gonna get away with it.
But their Casper crusade of ghoulish goofs goes unnoticed by these normies, who just won't see them.
Won't or can't?
Won't, Adam! Pay attention! They barely manage to lock the newcomers out of their attic, preserving it as their last bit of personal space. I love how good that headless body looks running around. Much better than the Simpson in Return of the Living Dead. Unable to leave or make themselves seen, the Maitlands are forced to sit by on the Deets' moving day full of cranes and cows. Maybe get those cows away from that crane. Unless you're planning on feeding a T-Rex or something. Jane drops by and gives Lydia a key to the attic, threatening the one room the Maitlands can still call their own. It's at that moment their TV plays a commercial for Beetlejuice, whose flyer they found earlier.
Troubled by the living? Is death the problem and not the solution? Call Beetlejuice.
Adam hasn't nailed the pronunciation, probably because the character's name isn't spelled like the movie title. It's spelled like the star it's named after, Beetlejuice, the 10th brightest in the sky and part of the Orion constellation. I like astronomy. Beetlejuice touts himself as a bio-exorcist, a ghost who gets rid of the living for a living. He can take care of their human possession, as he promises in this amazing preview of the character.
I'll do anything.
It gives us a hint of the performance in store, and even ends with a little jingle.
I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. Come on down now. Chew on a dog.
The Maitlands haven't gotten that desperate yet and opt to follow the manual, even though that thing's got Bible-thin pages, damn. It says to draw a door in case of emergency, and their chalk outline gives way to a glowing green entrance, whose light Lydia sees outside. After they step through, she opens the door and discovers their hideaway and haunted handbook. This now famous book cover was designed by art director Tom Duffield to look like a Dick and Jane reader, and the boomers go wild. The Maitlands find themselves in the scariest place of all, a waiting room. Ooh. This DMV of the dead has plenty of colorful corpses, like a magic trick gone wrong, a big game hunter with a shrunken head, and old bone swallower Bill. Ha, Bill, always swallowing them bones. They take a seat next to the world's best anti-smoking PSA.
You want a cigarette?
Oh, no, thank you.
I'm trying to cut down myself.
By the way, these afterlife characters aren't being included on the count since we never knew them when they were living. I think that's consistent. I don't know, man. The couple checks in with the receptionist and are led through the afterlife offices, staffed by bastard skellies and roadkill desk clerks. Oh shit, they've got a Monsters, Inc. transpo system here?
I've been feeling a little flat.
We saw actor Carmen Philby in Halloween 4, where he was also a little flat.
Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful, beautiful river.
Same goes for his appearance in Burton's previous film, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Give me quick corn, and I am
As they're leaving, the Maitlands pass by the Lost Souls room, a sort of afterlife. It's where spirits go after they've been exorcised. In other words, death for the dead. Kinda like at the end of Hercules, you know, that whirlpool version of the beach that makes you old. When they return home, they wind up in that place from Nightmare 4 where they played Dramarama. But this Art Deco dojo is actually their home. They've been gone for 3 months, during which Delia transformed the place inside and out. Beetlejuice's German expressionist-inspired production design comes courtesy of Bo Welch, who was hired because Burton liked his work on The Lost Boys. He found Burton's vision and detailed storyboards immensely helpful for his job, and found the entire production immensely helpful for his happiness. It was where he met Catherine O'Hara, and they started dating towards the end of the shoot. They're still married to this day. Aw, that's nice. The Maitlands finally meet Juno, the caseworker assigned to their ghostly affairs.
We're very unhappy.
What did you expect? You're dead.
She says if they want to scare the Deetses out, they should start small rather than going heads off right away. And don't even think of outsourcing their scares to the B-Man.
Don't even say his name. You don't want his help.
Beetlejuice used to be her assistant before he went rogue, because he's too wacky and wild to be contained. Then the perpetually smoking lady pieces out in a puff of smoke. I love how smoke also comes out of her slit neck. Effects artist Bob Short had to blow cigarette smoke out of a tubing system. Short handled most of the movie's prosthetics and makeup effects, spending 3 months designing and constructing the various creatures. Burton told him to make them look like his illustrations and not worry about realism, which is why a bunch of them don't look fully human. The Maitlands decide to step up their ghost game by bringing it back to the classics. It doesn't work on Delia, because she's white girl wasted right now, and Charles is too busy doing business! Turns out he's not really there to relax, at least not anymore.
These people don't know the value of their property. I can buy the whole town.
He's working an angle for his boss Maxie, who still lives in the city. You can tell by his city backdrop. Lydia overhears the moaning, but thinks it's just her dad and Delia making sex noises.
Cut it out! I'm a child, for God's sakes.
Wait, then, why are you taking pictures of them? What the fuck? It's how she learns that these two are honest to God ghosts. Rather than being afraid, she reacts with morbid curiosity.
Are you Night of the Living Dead under there? Like all bloody veins and pus?
Turns out Lydia can see them, even without the sheets. It's cause she's not like other girls.
Live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
The Maitlands tell Lydia they plan to drive away her family, but she says her parents don't scare easy, at least not after all the money they've spent ruining this place. While brainstorming in the attic, Barbara notices a flashing light in their miniature graveyard.
It's him, Beetlejuice.
We saw him hanging out here earlier, capturing a housefly for a snack. Dude's even got his own headstone under
Beetlejuice.
You might want to be careful there, Barbara. That's 2.
Beetlejuice.
Oh boy, brace yourself. It's showtime. The Maitlands are shrunk down and transported to the Motto, where they follow flashing lights to Beetlejuice's tomb. Damn, he's making them work for it. They've got to dig his corpse out from beneath corkboard. After they do, the juice is officially loose, looking like a tiny, dirty Sam Kinison, who was briefly considered for the role at one point. Juice wastes no time perving on Barb and just generally being a menace. Whoa! Ah! We've had to wait half the movie's runtime for this, but it's finally time for Keaton to take the spotlight. The wait is well worth it for this inspired performance.
You know what I'm saying? Save that guy for later.
Beetlejuice proves to be great at the scaring thing.
What do you think of this? You like it?
Actually, might be a little too frightening.
I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it!
I mean, the dude's talking tactics that include possession and straight up madman. Oh, and he's still perving on Barb.
Hey!
Excuse me? What?
Beetlejuice is played by Michael Keaton, last seen on The Kill Count and Jack Frost. Oh, wait, no, sorry, wrong one. Burton really wanted Keaton for the role, but the actor was hesitant at first since he didn't understand the script. He eventually agreed because he liked the director and was given free rein with how the character behaved.
Is everybody with me here? And nobody went, stop doing that, Mike. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna keep going.
He was encouraged to swing for the fences by Burton and the crew, who chanted juice when he first showed up on set in character. It only took him 2 weeks to film all his scenes, and he ad-libbed a lot of the performance.
Nice fucking model!
Keaton also helped design the character's look, even though Burton had plenty of sketches to begin with.
And I said, I want hair that looks like I stuck my phone in an electrical outlet.
He came up with the idea for all the mold alongside makeup artist V. Neal, whose credits are an insane list of giant films and the show Face Off. It took 3.5 hours to apply the look, which was never rehearsed or screen tested. He just showed up on set looking like this, and everyone loved it.
It was one of the great yes and
experiences.
The Maitlands aren't fans of the Juice's whole vibe, so they ditch the dirty bastard and decide to take another crack at being creepy themselves. Downstairs, the Deetses are hosting a giant shrimp cocktail party for some guests. They include Otho, Delia's agent Bernard, their writer friend Grace, and neurotic artsy type Beryl. Bernard is played by Dick Cavett, a talk show host. You know, like Jack Delroy. He was previously on the kill count as a Freddy-infested version of himself who murdered Zsa Zsa Gabor in Dream Warriors. It was great.
Who in that fuck what you think?
Meanwhile, real-life artist Adele Lutz had a brief appearance in Silence of the Lambs. This miserable party is full of snooty food and snide comments about Otho.
Paranormal, is that what they're calling your kind these days?
Oh damn! The Maitlands interrupt the pretentious proceedings with karaoke. The guests are forced into a supernatural song and dance number set to the Banana Boat song by Harry Belafonte. Incredible face acting and lip syncing all around. Sometimes their dances look like a David Bowie pose, and other times it gets more David Byrne, which is funny since Adele Lutz was married to Byrne at one point and designed costumes for his movie True Stories. The fun and games end with a scare that's actually pretty effective. Oh man, I love those shrimp fingers. Burton first read Michael McDowell's screenplay in 1986 and loved that it didn't have the same rigid structure as most scripts.
You're gonna get this script that makes no sense, it has no real story.
It went through a bunch of drafts by various writers and changes during production, like adding more Beetlejuice. Burton continued the script's loose spirit by allowing his cast to improvise and shape their characters, and his crew to keep pushing boundaries. He and frequent composer Danny Elfman both said the studio rarely bothered checking in with them.
I didn't get a lot of notes because they didn't know what to say about it.
The only interference I read about was that the studio briefly made Burton remove the possessed dinner calypso karaoke scene, which is nuts. Burton wisely put it back in at the last minute. The Maitlands are thrilled with their efforts until they see that they haven't scared these rich pricks off. They've only made them more interested.
It was like being in an amusement park.
They want to turn this haunted house into a tourist attraction.
People will pay big money for this.
Yeah, man, James Randi's got $1 million for you. Lydia's forced to take her parents up to the attic where, oh my god, there's a sniper! Lydia, get down! Oh, wait, that's just the light. My bad. Otho nabs himself some new reading material as Beetlejuice decides to give the Maitlands a trial run of his services.
Let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose.
The Deetses soon discover that their railing has developed scaling. It's Beetlejuice in the form of a Michael Keaton condom. His brand of haunting is less Day-O dilly-dallying and more, severe concussions. Oh, and perving on Delia. Yeah, they're up Schitt's Creek now. Beetleman turns his thirst towards Lydia, so Barbara intervenes on her behalf.
Beetlejuice! Oh no!
The reverse Uno banishes the bio-exorcist back into the model town, but he still intends on being a literal thorn in their sides. Luckily, he's waylaid by an itty-bitty titty bar filled with hot demon chicks, yeah! Gonna tell my kids this was Has-Been Hotel. This distraction was added by Juno, who's none too pleased with the Maitlands. Not only did they summon Beetlejuice, but their haunting hijinks could expose the afterlife to the living at large. She's more annoyed with them than she is with her latest clients.
Coach, where's the men's room?
Yeah.
I'm not your coach. He survived.
She tells them to go all out, so the Maitlands get creative, mushing up their faces. Adam stretches out into a spy versus spy guy and fills his fingertips with eyeballs! Barbara flicks her peepers back and pops them out her mouth, and stretches her mouth open like a messed up looking Muppet. Ha, things are looking up, Juno. The Maitlands have a plan, and even the football players are starting to figure things out.
I don't think we survived that crash.
How did you guess?
In the land of the living, the Deets' parental concerns have finally kicked in. They're worried these ghosts and ghouls are too dangerous for Lydia, but Otho convinces them to stay the course. You know, for money. Otho's played by Glenn Shaddix, who voiced the mayor in A Nightmare Before Christmas. Catherine O'Hara voiced Sally in that movie, which Burton produced but did not direct. Common misconception. Shaddix, who sadly passed away in 2010, also appeared alongside Winona Ryder in Heathers, which came out the day after Beetlejuice was released? What you doing opening 2 movies in one weekend, Winona? That's crazy. Lydia winds up in the attic where she finds Beetlejuice in miniature form.
Are you a ghost too?
I'm the ghost with the most, babe.
He asks her to let him out by saying his name 3 times, but since he's not allowed to say it himself, he resorts to Paranormal Pictionary.
Hi, how are you?
Lydia nearly summons him before the girl is interrupted by Adam and Barbara. The couple decides not to go through with the haunting, having grown a fondness for Lydia as a sort of surrogate daughter. They invite her and her family to stay in the house, for better or worse. Unfortunately, things seem to be sliding towards worse. Charles's big shot boss, Maxie Dean, and his wife Sarah have arrived to hear a pitch for their new business venture. The Deetses want to transform this whole town into a paranormal theme park with their home as the main attraction. Maxie is played by Robert Goulet, esteemed singer and Broadway actor. actor. Also, there's a mustache award named after him. Yeah, that checks out. Maxie isn't willing to invest until he sees proof of the ghosts, but Lydia refuses to sell out her spirit friends. Enter Otho and his stolen handbook for the recently deceased. He conducts a seance using Adam and Barbara's wedding clothes, which he found earlier in a closet. It seemingly works at first, summoning the couple to the dinner table. The only problem is dumbass Otho is actually conducting an exorcism, which starts turning the Maitlands into a pair of lost souls. Desperate to save her undead friends, Lydia consults the only other ghost she knows.
Sure, I can help him. You gotta help me.
He'll only do it if Lydia agrees to marry him, which will allow him to escape into the mortal world. Oh, that's how you get your living green card. Lydia, being the naive young teen that she is, agrees to the deal.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
See, this is why we have age of consent laws.
It's showtime.
You watch what you're showing that teenager, mister. An earthquake hits the miniature town and a Jack Skellington pops out. Oh wait, no, it's Carnival Barker Beetlejuice.
Attention, Kmart shoppers.
God, he's like a weird, scary version of Beavis and Butthead combined. I don't know. First up for a bio-exorcism are Maxie and Sarah, who Beetlejuice high strikes straight out the ceiling. But I don't think he kills them. They're staying off the count. He then turns his attention to Otho, whom he leaves looking like Lil Gideon. Feels pretty tame in comparison, but it's enough to send him running out of the movie. With the excess characters cleared out, B-Man wants to get this red wedding started. He summons a pint-sized priest to lead the proceedings and brings Delia's artwork to life. You know, they were crappy sculptures, but they make for great stop-motion monsters. Adam and Barbara manage to pull themselves together enough to try to object to this unholy union, but they're stopped by Beetlejuice's Looney Tune gags, which include literally zipping Barbara's mouth shut. Then Adam gets sparkled into the model town, while Barbara is banished to the desert outside. Beetlejuice gets ready to put a ring on Lydia, but Adam manages to hijack a toy car and stop the final vows. Barbara also returns, riding in on a sandworm like Thelma and Louisa and Al-Gaib. The stop-motion serpent devours Beetlejuice, sending him back to the underworld. It's not an exorcism though, so this undead boy stays off the count. An epilogue shows both families living in harmony. They're brushed with the dead, inspiring Delia's art. The Maitlands are now full-on surrogate parents, helping Lydia with her schoolwork and treating her to a magical dance session. It's set to another Harry Belafonte song, Jump in the Line. Beetlejuice has been sent back to the afterlife waiting room. He also tries to jump in the line, but he messes with the wrong witch doctor. The movie ends as Beetlejuice's head is shrunk down to size. How many recently deceased will have to study up on their handbooks? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Time to get to the numbers. Yeah, what I said. Only 2 people died on screen in Beetlejuice. The victims consisted of 1 man and 1 woman, giving us this till death do us pie chart. We've seen this count and breakdown 4 times before on this show, including just recently an influencer. With a runtime of 92 minutes, Beetlejuice had a kill on average every 46 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to the Maitlands, because they're the only kills we counted. Oh, and the dog gag was pretty funny. For the same reason, Doll Machete for lamest kill will go to no one. And that's it. Beetlejuice was released in 1988 and was the 10th highest grossing movie of the year. The sequel, Beetlejuice, comes out soon. Can't wait. Until next time, I'm Beetle James. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Hey, be good people. It's Dead Meat Video.
Hey, we're the team at Dead Meat Video.
Here with our weekly Kill Count recommendation.
This week, it's VHS.
VHS is an anthology film with a wraparound that follows some douchebags tasked with one simple mission.
We gotta break into this house, and all we have to do is steal this one VHS tape.
Will they get the tape? Will they break a bunch of shit? Will they fucking die horribly? I hope so, because they suck.
Second Honeymoon is the story of a married couple's Arizona road trip that gets interrupted by a mysterious stalker. Directed by Ty West, it has a bloody ending that's definitely not for minors.
You know what I'm saying?
Amateur Night follows some douchebags tasked with one simple mission.
I'm not filming a porno.
Nope, but it's close enough. Of course, things go wrong, so be prepared for this booty call to get extra bloody.
Tuesday the 17th is a slasher featuring a homicidal killer known as the Glitch. Now, I don't want to ruin the ending for you, but...
You're all gonna fucking die up here.
Hey, spoilers!
10/30/198 follows some non-douchebags as they wind up at the wrong Halloween house party.
Oh shit!
Don't miss Radio Silence's directorial debut or you'll regret it.
The sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger is a story about a girl in a long-distance relationship. With ghosts?
That's really scary, Emily. What are you talking about?
She sees ghosts. I thought that was pretty clear.
So check out VHS this week.
Then on Friday, make sure to avoid any late fees
By watching the kill count. Only on Dead Meat.
Wow, that's disgusting. Should my kid be watching this? Yeah, Dead Meat Video.
VHS can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this Beetlejuice kill count. Huge thanks to Chelsea for doing this Beetlejuice makeup. Obviously, she did this. I sat in that chair for a good 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and she just worked her magic, man. This is fantastic. I love it. It's so gross. I feel crusty. There are literal little crusties on me. I was filming this and I was like, oh man, there's not a ton of me on screen in this video. I feel like I almost wasted this look, but hopefully it was worth it. I kind of want to do this at conventions or some shit, man. I'm really digging this look. Also, I love doing the Beetlejuice voice, but I couldn't do the whole kill count in it, so that's why I just did it for the trailer. But I do want to thank some patrons like Josie, Cam the Frogman, Mega Man Bear Pig, Fritzy, Jeremias, and Jackson Wells. Thanks everyone. Be good people, babe.